What's going on, you guys? One of the more common requests I've gotten over the last 15 years of helping people evaluate and buy businesses, especially route-based businesses, is if I will create like an analysis or a report about a particular deal that they're looking at and just basically tell them whether it's good or not. Well, there's multiple reasons why I don't do this and why I don't think this serves people in the highest and best way possible. And so the first thing is that whenever you are looking at a report, a lot of times those are focused on one thing, which is typically the net income. Now, I use the three-pillared approach whenever I evaluate deals. So we're looking at the net income. We're also looking at the ease of management. How many hours a week does it take? What's the expertise required? Those sorts of things. And then also sustainability. Doesn't matter if he's netting 300,000 if it's not sustainable. It's going to be going down, or hey, maybe it'll go up. Maybe it disappears altogether. What do your risk levels look like? And so whenever you look at all three of these, it's very, very difficult to be able to even put that into a report based on just an analysis. You have to be able to ask sellers questions. And when they give you those answers, you can't just blindly say, oh, okay, here's the answer. A lot of times you're going to have follow-up questions with that. And if you don't understand the business deeply enough, you're not going to be able to ask good follow-up questions. You're probably not even going to be able to ask good questions initially anyway. It doesn't matter if you ask about DRO. If you don't know what DRO is, you don't know what sorts of questions, and you don't know what sorts of questions to follow up and answer with. And so, like, it's not that this business is hard. I pinky swear it's not. It's that all the other stuff is like so weird in this business. It's so counterintuitive. But whenever you see what's really going on, it's like, oh, this is easy. Now I understand it. Now I can have a reasonable conversation. But you can also imagine something like being able to do your on-site evaluation. There's no report that's going to be able to tell you what you see in that on-site evaluation. You need to understand what sorts of things to be looking for. Because what happens for a lot of people that go on-site, they go into the terminal, they just see some packages flowing around. They see some people loading up some trucks. They see some conveyor belts. They say, okay, well, it looks legit. I'm good to go. I'll go home. And like that sort of evaluation is worthless. Like, you need to know what to look for. You need to know what questions to ask. You need to know and be able to understand things well enough to where you hear the answer, you know how to follow it up, have reasonable conversations. Because there is no situation where a broker or seller provides all the information you're going to want all up front in all the initial prospectus or whatever. It just doesn't work like that. You've always got to be able to have a conversation with those sellers to be able to understand the business fully, because then and only then will you be able to distinguish from one route and the next. I know everybody else wants you to think that they're all the same. They all make money. They're all on these margins and these sorts of, like, it doesn't work, right? You want to be able to say, oh, this one's high risk, high reward. This one's lower risk, but lower reward. Oh, this one takes 40 hours a week and is making a ton of money. This one takes 10 hours a week, not making nearly as much money. And so one that is good for one person is bad for someone else. Sometimes certain route bundles will take a ton of CapEx. Some don't need nearly as much, and so on and so forth. And understanding those sorts of things is imperative to a good evaluation. And also, you're not going to be able to get that in any sort of way that I could possibly imagine without really deeply understanding the business and analyzing it from start to finish. Because the reality is, understanding the business is sort of imperative to you running the business. Even if it was all somehow magically done and I could like jump into your skin and ask all the right questions and look all the right directions and say all the right things, like, once that's done, you're in this basically jet fighter and you're piloting it. Like, you've still got to understand things well enough to be able to go through it. So the appropriate evaluation not only helps with an evaluation, but it helps with you being able to run the business because you understand the business better. Now, granted, these things don't completely overlap because operationally the business is kind of as easy as it gets almost. Get trucks, hire drivers, deliver stuff. Like, that's the operations. Granted, there's more to it than that. But the point is like the evaluation is really counterintuitive in a lot of ways, and it really just requires a little bit of time to sit down, understand it well enough, and then be able to go through the process. There's no evaluation is not a one-stop shop. It is a process of multiple rounds of questions, moving through the process as opposed to a one single point in time. So anyway, hopefully this helps explain why I don't provide this service and why I can't imagine how I possibly could that also serves you in the highest and best way. So anyway, hopefully this helps. Take care, talk soon, and bye-bye.